Right, so I don't know if I can put it in any better words than the man himself who's inventing the thing. Basically, there's a company up in Troon, Scotland, and the man behind it is a network architect who has been designing this for the last 10 years or so. And his vision is a serverless internet. So all of the processing, all of the encryption, everything else is done on every node individually. Every node talks to every other node. You've got the whole internet like you'd have now, but there's no servers, no central person, nobody in control. It's all done on your machine and my machine, all over the place. Just a little bit of history. They got it almost ready a few years ago, a couple of years ago, written in C++, and they just had millions and millions and millions of lines of code, and he decided this isn't working well enough, it's not reliable enough, we're going to rewrite the entire thing from scratch in Rust, which is a new and still developing language. So we got to almost there, and then we went back because it was to be written again. And at the moment where we're at is a stage of test networks, and I think we're on test network 5, is it? I think about that now. With the I'll give you a demonstration a bit of how you can download the Safe launcher and run a couple of bits and bobs on your own machine that links in with everybody else's machines without any central servers at all. This is also a self-authenticating network, so you sign up with some credentials, you're not signing up with anybody except the network. So there isn't a server that keeps your password. The whole thing is deterministic from your machine. It gives you a set of keys that log in to get to your data. Anyway, so that's a little bit of background. This is the story and vision of Maidsafe. I hope. You'll have to give me a second to make sure the technology works.
Of Maidsafe?
Yeah, founder and team member.
Tell me, what is...
Go from the beginning.
And I have with me today David Irvin, who is the founder of Maidsafe.
Yeah, founder and team member.
Tell me, what is Maidsafe?
The idea behind Maidsafe was decentralize the internet, and what that means, decentralize the internet, is almost like what Bitcoin did for money or is doing for money. Decentralizing something like that to me means take out all the rubbish in the middle, the parts that you don't need, so parts of the financial system that were complex. Bitcoin was able to remove that. So Maidsafe looked at the internet and said, this is quite strange, because if I'm going to speak to you, I'm going through just now like Skype or something, Microsoft servers, why should I ask Microsoft if I can speak to you? Why are they allowed to cut this call off or give content to some other agency? If I want to speak to someone, I should speak directly to them across the internet. And we realised that everybody's computer's connected, and everybody's computer has got a lot of resources. If those resources can all be collected together and form some sort of cyber brain, if you like, then we could all use that cyber brain to communicate with each other. The mechanism for that is that us as the human have put a piece of software on our computer. That computer joins the network. It proves it's got a resource that's valuable to the network. We can then take a certificate from that resource and join the network as a human. The network itself then stores our data, makes sure our data is safe, allows us to share it with our friends in complete privacy, and allows us to communicate.
So it's a trustless system.
Completely trustless. And that's one of the strange parts of the Maidsafe project, because we're a company, Maidsafe is a company, and we've taken 8 years, we've created this system. There's a huge amount of work.
8 years?
8 years, yeah. 2006, 22nd of February 2006. Some of my friends started giving me cash to make this happen.
What inspired you to do this? Because 8 years ago, we didn't have all this Snowden revelations. I don't even think we really had anything from like Thomas Drake and others. You know, none of this NSA business or GCHQ or whoever. What inspired you then?
I was actually away and working away as a consultant in IT, network design and whatnot, and design probably one of the largest private networks in the world. and then came back to Scotland thinking that people here should be getting that same level of attention, and realised that the servers I was getting people to put into businesses were terrible versions of software, and it just seemed like something's wrong here. Why is this so difficult? And at that point, I actually created a system called eBoxit, which was a standalone server, and thought, well, this is better. People can use this, but I couldn't really get capital for it at the time. It was a hardware solution, and at that time I thought, well, if everyone's got a server, why don't they back each other's data up? Why have tapes? I could have some of your data, you could have some of mine. And I thought, well, if that was done in a way where I didn't have to know you, where it was completely decentralized, then the ideas just came out. That was about 1996, 97, when we started really looking at this. And from 2002 to about 2006, I took time out. I spent much more time in a lifeboat and delivering yachts about the place and being out at sea. So really that was it. Go back to the drawing board, and I told people about these ideas and knocked together a demo in Python. When I got investment from the friends and family, I went away to a place called Brno. It's the second city in the Czech Republic, and they speak no English there at all. I spent 8 months actually focused on designing a completely decentralized internet, and that's really where it started. And interestingly enough, one of the first things that went into this decentralized internet was a cryptocurrency, and that was all written up in 2006. But I seen a Bitcoin paper in 2009, I thought, it's not really decentralized. It's doing something, but there's data here, there's a big block of data, the blockchain. That's not really decentralized, it's just copied and distributed. So I sort of wrote it off a little bit, I must say. But I thought it would be great, if something like that worked, and now it has worked. It's great because Bitcoin broke the water for us. We have this vision of privacy, security and freedom for all of the people of the world, and we don't care if it's us that does it. We're here, we'll try our hardest to make it happen, and it looks like we could have some great success soon.
So that gives you a bit of background. Excuse me a second while man looks at phone on stage.
Can I ask you a question?
Go for it.
Why isn't this connected to the Bitcoin?
Because it's not. It is a completely separate set of code and separate set of technology. The two are not mutually exclusive, and there is a thing involved to make it work that's called Maidsafe coin.
Okay.
As far as my understanding is, that's a little bit more similar to like gas in Ethereum.
Today,
Right.
almost all our
Sorry, I interrupted myself. And so it's there as a functional thing to make the network work, rather than as a currency you could take outside of the network to use. So Bitcoin could quite happily run on top of Maidsafe
Okay.
without
Okay.
any problem.
Okay.
So here's the second little explanatory video. See what you think.
And I have with me today.
Sorry. No, it's not behaving itself. Let me try again. Apologies for the delay. Here we go.
Today, almost all our personal data is centrally stored and controlled by large technology companies. These companies can read our data, corrupt it or delete it at will, and many choose to sell our private information for huge profits, or on request provide it to governments, often without our knowledge. Storing data in central points, such as servers, also makes it insecure, and reports of stolen credit card details, personal information, photos and passwords to our many online accounts are a daily occurrence. We deserve a way of sharing and communicating that puts us in control of our own data, that enables us to enjoy the many amazing benefits of the internet without many of the downsides. This new way is called the Secure Access for Everyone, or SAFE network, and it is brought to you by Maidsafe. Instead of using traditional data centers and servers, the SAFE software joins together the spare computing resources of its users, creating a global data and communications network. On SAFE, it's possible to do absolutely anything you can do on today's existing and vulnerable internet, such as messaging, email, social networks, data storage, video conferencing, and many more. Together with a blossoming community of third-party developers, the range and diversity of these apps are growing rapidly. All that you require to do to join this network is download the free SAFE software, create your account, and tell the network how much space you're going to provide. It's that simple. This is a network of equals, and ownership belongs to all users all the time. Claim your privacy, security, and freedom, and join the SAFE network today.
So I've got one more video to play you, and then I'll give you, if I can, a demonstration of just how to set up what that's just said about the download of the software. The other one's on here.
And I have with me today
Nope.
David.
Sorry. I do apologise for the technical mishaps here. This is David Irvine himself. Oh dear, I've just had a message here that says, if playback doesn't begin shortly, try restarting your device. Okay, we might leave that one then. So, I'll give this a go, see if it works. If it doesn't, so be it. So here we go. We're now at Maidsafe.io, and this just takes you through how to install. You'll find this if you go on Google, and you can download the Safe launcher, which I already have, and it does. It's got Windows, OS 10, and Linux versions of the same thing. It'll just take you here about some of the emergency warnings because it doesn't recognise where it's come from. So, rather than just show you on the website, I'll actually create an account. So if we launch the Safe launcher, excuse me while I go into settings and just tell it it's okay. Mm-hmm. Oh dear. No, this isn't going well. Shall we skip straight to... it might do in a minute. Let's get them back up. I don't know.
Right?
I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I'm no good at this and I haven't had time to set it up.
Hmm?
I said I'm no good at this and I haven't had enough time to play with it and set it up.
about the fact
I don't know. What do you think? Are we still rolling?
how we get on.
Can't seem to get hold of him. I've lost him.
Oh, God. I'm going to try that one. We've got to 8 o'clock, let's keep going.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what else. I mean, does that teach you anything you didn't know already? I know quite a bit more about it, but I don't know. Just, ask me a question, fire away. What else do you want to know about Maidsafe?
Is it better than IPFS or say?
The difference, main difference is Maidsafe is entirely encrypted. Everything is totally encrypted. All data that's put on the network is encrypted into tiny pieces and distributed all over the place, and nobody can read any of it. IPFS has a similar principle, but it is totally open, so anybody can read anything. So that's the main. That's as much as anything else, that's the main difference. And I don't know. I don't know as much about IPFS. I don't know how it works. I wouldn't think you could build the entire internet on IPFS in the way you can. They're just sort of hard-coded permanent links, as far as I can tell. But I don't know very much about IPFS. So.
I've got a question.
Mm-hmm.
How far to it being usable do you think it is?
Now these are a very good question. They've been nearly there for about 18 months from what I can tell. But they've got to get it right, because once it goes, no one can turn it off. The only way you could stop it is, it'd be like trying to turn the Bitcoin network off. You just can't do it. As long as enough people have got a valid version of Bitcoin Core and they're running it and they're connected to the network, then the network exists. You can't decide. So if they get something wrong when they, it's going to be quite difficult for them, because every node would have to. I don't know if they've got any sort of self-updating mechanism within the nodes. I'm not sure how that works. What they're struggling with is testing at scale, because there aren't enough people. Now, so some of the people who are enthusiastic about it and have got impatient have done is actually create a sort of droplet network themselves that uses the code to make a sort of ad hoc, just people bodging it together type thing. But and that's quite interesting. But
Is it working?
it is after a fashion, but it's only got they've only got as far as the developers who are developing the real thing have got to work with. The hardest part, from what I can tell, is actually the interaction between your computer and your router, because they have to do a thing called tunneling, because the router's got firewalls in it that are supposed to not let extra communications come in and out that aren't authorized, and the whole thing just goes completely, tears up the rule book and does it in its own way. So they have vast amounts of their effort is put into getting the data in and out of your router.
It sounds like a virus, really, doesn't it?
Well, it almost is, except you could build the whole internet on it. So,
Internet or intranet?
no, the whole
Internet.
It is going to be more Wild West now, because there's nobody can impose any controls, because it is what it is. So anybody can put anything on there. No, there won't be. They'll be uncensorable. So I mean, that's going to have some interesting consequences, particularly at first, because everybody's going to want to see what they can get away with. But that's what it is. It's like,
Yeah, so unless they have a system where it's sensible, then it's unusable. In
How do you
effect, well, if it's going to be a complete Wild West, and it acts like a virus, and it makes its own rules as it goes along, you know what I mean? It just needs. It can't be usable unless it has some sort of restriction that it can't do certain things. and it wants to.
We've got. Say that again. Sorry.
If it's got a mind of its own, and well, not a mind of its own, but it does certain things to get around problems or blockage or restrictions.
Ah.
Yeah, sorry.
Hello.
Aha.
Are you there? Great. Can you see us? Can you hear us?
I think I lost the audio.
No, you're sideways.
Yeah, turn it sideways.
Everything's gone sideways. Go that way up. There you are. Can you
Hello.
hear us?
Yeah, now I can.
Splendid. Thank you very much for joining us today. We've just given these good people here, a lot of them have had to disappear, I'm afraid, but
Oh,
I've given them an introduction to Maidsafe. So, any questions?
What do you think of the other similar projects like SIA, Storage, IPFS?
Could you hear that? Sorry. Do you want me to repeat it?
yeah, I understood SIA and storage.
Yeah, just
Are you
wonder
asking
how
what's
it
the
how it
difference?
compares with the other things like IPFS and storage and whatnot, and what the advantages are and what.
Yeah, the one I'm most familiar with is IPFS. One difference is that IPFS is focusing on. I'm hearing myself. Sorry.
Sorry.
Turn off the volume. Okay. Well,
Try that.
with Safe, one thing we're trying to do is adding data persistence, so you are guaranteed that there's always like a certain number of copies of each files. But a network like IPFS, it's more like BitTorrent, so it depends on people voluntary. Like there's no incentive in IPFS yet. It's just so it could happen that some files are inaccessible because no one is seeding them. But with Safe, we would have a mechanism that ensures that all files are always available. I know IPFS is planning to add something like that, but it's too early to tell how it compares because the design is not really there yet. I think it's based on blockchain technology. And then if you want to compare it to storage, I know storage is based more on blockchain technology, so one thing we're trying to do with Safe is we're using a different kind of consensus mechanism, and I would really recommend reading one of the latest blog posts on the Maidsafe blog, which explains like gives an overview of how it works. It's called closed group consensus. So as far as I know, we're the only project that's using that approach where small groups of nodes agree on actions in the network. So for example, it can be a group of 32 nodes, and the advantage is that if you compare it to a blockchain system is it cannot be really fast because you need to have everyone in the network agree. In the case of Bitcoin, it's like takes on average 10 minutes for a confirmation. I know Ethereum is faster, but like there's a lot of scalability issues. But with Safe, it's organized so that only small groups of nodes are taking decision, and the network is really fast to reorganize itself when, for example, when a node quits the network, or when a new node is added, so it's gonna fast to adapt. So that would be the thing that's really different about Safe. It's not proven yet on a big scale, like if this is secure, because you have to make sure that it's hard for people to like the network should give you an ID. You shouldn't be able to decide your own ID. Otherwise, you could make a small group of nodes that make that collude.
That's
I'll
that,
send
that,
you a link maybe in the chat if you want to show it on the computer, the web post.
that'd be great. Yes,
And
and I can share that within the meetup group.
link here. Okay, so I have a link here.
That's brilliant. I'll spread that around to the people who are here and all those who are watching online. Thank you very much.
And the other thing we're doing is it's also a platform for applications. Some other projects are mainly for storage, but with Safe, you would be able to do most of the application that we're familiar with today.
Great.
So,
Any more?
I would say it's more ambitious, but more risky.
Question: how safe do you think Maidsafe can be in its present form?
How safe do you think Maidsafe can be in its present form?
In its present form, it's not secure, but I think there's a list of attacks that we need to make sure we protect from, but we have a good fundamentals. Like what I like is that if you try to study Safe, it's pretty straightforward. So it's too early for me to tell like how secure it can be, but I think it could be much more secure than anything else that exists.
And the $1 million question that gets asked again and again: when do you think we'll have a minimum viable product?
They're not using that term now. It's alpha, beta, and release candidate. But right now we're in pre-alpha, and like I hope we're gonna get an alpha soon. But every week on the forum there's the weekly update, so that's a good way to follow the progress. One project that they're working on right now, which I think really help people understand it, is the Safe browser.
Yes.
Imagine you could download a browser that's made specifically for the Safe network. Would be more secure because it doesn't interfere with the current web. And you wouldn't have to, like right now, you have to configure a proxy, so it's not necessarily easy. But with this browser, it would be pretty simple. So I think we need applications like that are useful.
Yeah.
Another one that would be useful is a messaging app. So that's something I also expect not too long.
How much will it cost?
Do you mean to the user or?
Yeah, to the user.
As far as I'm aware, you just asked a question of how much will it cost, but as far as I'm aware, it's designed to be free, isn't it? Is that correct?
I think there might be a cost for account creation, like to prevent spam, like it might be like one safe coin. Like you would be able to create an account, but if you want to keep it, then you might have to pay one safe coin, but you also need safe coin if you want to store data, but if you just want to access data, that's going to be free. So, for example, you could download the browser and not even make an account, but you can browse videos, audio, web pages. But when you want to create your own website, then you have to pay in safe coins. So there would be like the price per unit of storage would change in real time, but we're expecting that I think it's going to cost less and less over time.
So is it as you get more users and the network is more and more widespread, then the cost will come down accordingly? Is that why you expect the cost to reduce over time?
It's based on the amount of supply and also the demand. Like the network in the current specification, I think it's always trying to have 50% more than what it needs.
Yeah.
In terms of storage, and if it starts having less than that, then it's going to increase the incentive for people to farm, but it's going to reduce the incentive when it reaches 50%. So it wants to have a small oversupply, and that's also related to the cost. But it's even for me, it's really hard right now to visualize because we don't have a proof of concept for that yet. But I expect that the devs are going to work on that soon.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
And how are you personally involved? Are you? I mean, obviously you're being fantastic by being here, and we really appreciate it. But do you contribute to the code, or do you just follow closely? Are you working on your own project, or how else do you fall into what Maidsafe are doing?
Yeah, I've been following this project since April 2014, but before that I was already looking for something like that. I'm an application developer, so I have a lot of ideas. Like I'd like to build, or I want someone to build like a decentralized YouTube or a decentralized forum. Decentralized forum is one of the applications currently being worked on right now. And so I was really excited by Maidsafe. So I've been following it, so I helped with the forum, and now since a few days ago I'm also working for Maidsafe, so I'm going to help the documentation. So we've got a lot of work to do now to build good user documentation and also for developers. For me, it's I really want to have a platform that's easy for developers to build applications, that they don't have to worry about the infrastructure. And also what I like about Safe is if we do it correctly, like it would be an anonymous network as far as I understand. So I think that's also pretty valuable, maybe as an alternative to Tor.
Great.
Another question. You
Question?
said decentralized forum.
Yes,
How's that going to work?
Have you heard of Project Decorum?
No.
So, yes, I'm going to send the link in the chat. That's the other link I would recommend check it.
Okay.
So right now there's a few people that are building like small apps or just running some tests, but I would say that Project Decorum is probably like the most serious app that's being developed right now. So it's developed by a student in the Netherlands, but he's really active on the forum. So on his website you have some explanation. So there's two concepts. There's a web of trust, so you'll be able to assign trust to people that can be people you know or people you met online. And so based on that, you're going to see their post. There would also be like a competition between moderation. So you could subscribe to the group of moderators that you want. So that's really interesting for me. I spend a lot of time on the forum, and I agree that it's hard to make a forum that that's good for everyone. Some people want to have it more family friendly. Other people don't really care about that. So with Project Decorum, you'd be able to subscribe to the to other moderators, and so if you don't like it, you can change. And also, like I said, the web of trust. So you're gonna see more posts from the people that you care about, and there would also be a coin, so you could spend value to show other people that it's like a like. So you're gonna destroy a coin to show that you support a post, and doing that is gonna maybe other people are gonna see the post in their feed. So it's like a marketing mechanism, but that might make sense.
Yeah, I think that.
So we can find information on his website and also on the forum. There was a proof of concept at some point, but it's not online anymore, as far as I know. Yeah.
Okay, right. Well, thank you very much indeed. That's been a great help. We're very pleased to talk to you.
Okay.
And keep up the good work. Thank you very much indeed.
So how was your event? Was there
Yes, we had a few more people earlier, but a few people had to head off a bit early. So, but it'll all be on YouTube. So once we've got it together and we've got the links together, I'll put them on the Safe forum, so you can find them there.
cool?
Okay.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you very much indeed.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye bye.